warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Dr. Ahmad and Muhammadi and my fellow classmates. We are from Group 1 and we're going to present the topic of the role and contribution of IIUM in empowering the Ummah. Next. Basically, I'm going to talk about the introduction part. Um, International Islamic University IIUM was established as a result of the aspiration of Islamic scholars in Malaysia and Islamic University in Malaysia that will lead Muslims in all fields of knowledge. And the proposal for the establishment of IIUM was submitted by Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the fourth Prime Minister of Malaysia, on 12th January 1982. IIUM was officially established on 20th May 1983 by the Malaysian government, and the philosophy of IIUM was inspired by the conclusion reached at the first International Islamic Educational Conference held in Mecca in 1977. Basically, this study explained the role and contribution of IIUM to empower the Muslim Ummah across the world in various sectors. IIUM is a body responsible for introducing an education system based on a combination of Islamic values and local culture and forming a regional educational and cultural arrangement that use religious and conventional approaches in the learning process and approach. The birth of this university, which involved fusion of understanding according to the theories of Islamization of knowledge in the peeling the concept of virtue, ihsan, taqwa, justice that can be associated with daily life, is the understanding, awareness, and collaborating that it generated on the need for religious integration and values that unite regional Muslims to contribute to the reconstruction of civilization and renaissance of the intellect. Next. Next, I'm going to talk about IUM vision and mission. IUM vision aims at becoming a leading international center of educational excellence which seeks to restore the dynamic and progressive role of the Muslim Ummah in all branches of knowledge and intellectual discourse. Whereas IUM mission is towards actualizing the university visions. IUM endeavors 7 missions that are first to undertake the special and greatly needed task of reforming the contemporary Muslim mentality and integrating Islamic real knowledge and human science. And second, to produce better quality intellectual, professional, and scholars by integrating the qualities of faith, iman, knowledge, good character, to serve as agent of comprehensive and balanced progress as well as sustainable development in Malaysia and in the Muslim world. Third, to foster the Islamization of the ethics of Muslim academic and administrative staff of IUM and certain aspect of human knowledge, particularly in social sciences and humanities, with the view to making them more useful and more relevant to Muslim Ummah. Fourth, to nurture the quality of holistic excellence which imbued with Islamic moral spiritual values in the process of learning, teaching, research, consultancy, publication, administration, as well as student life. Fifth, to exemplify an international community of dedicated intellectuals, scholars, professional officers, and workers who are motivated by Islamic worldview and code of ethics as an integral part of their work and culture. Six, to enhance intellectual understanding and foster civilization dialogues in Malaysia as well as across the communities and nation. And last but not least, to develop an environment that instills commitment for lifelong learning and deep sense of social responsibility among staff and students. Next, I'll pass this to Aisar.
Okay, moving on to the political sector, we divided this into 3 sections. First, education, second, health, and policies. Moving on to the next slide, we are going to talk on education part on how IM could contribute to empower the Ummah, where the integrated system where Islam-centric is the focus. The return of the primacy of Islam in all fields of knowledge, then radical reorientation of its formulation and systemization, where the systemization at the core represented the Fardu Ain or the religious sciences, and it also incorporates modern methods of study and research into the best techniques of traditional scholarship. And last, develop an appropriate methodology for dealing with Islamic legacy. Next slide. Okay, the second point, where Islamic values is the focus, the adaptation of methods and theories within the framework of the Islamic worldview. And this is to reinforce the holistic perspective and accentuate its Islamic character and the moral and ethical quality of social perfection which connect to the worldview projected by Islam. And this, for example, where the students are encouraged to cover their aura and also to overview the relationship with other gender. And the last, the spiritual heritage and true reliance upon God. I will pass the next presentation to Umi.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. I'm Miss Emanur. I will present health sector. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to present here. I divided this sector by physical care and mental care. For physical care, firstly, I would like to mention about one website called Hikam is created by Imarah team, Islamic and Malay Medical Manuscript Research and Information Unit based at the College of Allied Health Science and IIM Content Campus. The aim of this website is as community engagement tools is disseminating and sharing information, raising awareness, initiating collaboration on research revolving uh, around Malay medical manuscript. This website is open for all, not only for IM community. Next, I would like to mention about this team proudly because this team mainly work for individuals who are not normal, means who need special care. They they cover medical care for those special individuals, including dental care. As we know, in our society, still now individuals are not aware about dental care. Luckily, they cover this sector too. Interestingly, it's open for all, not only for IAM community. Next comes PPV, is the outcome of the collaboration between the International Islamic University Malaysia and the Selangor state government to expand the achieving immunity is the state in Islamic way where women got a special care. This service is also for open for all outcomers, not only for IM students and staffs. Next slide, please. Next point, PPE, which is a very famous equipment for this pandemic. So, what is PPE? PPE is a disposable clothing which individuals should wear in a dangerous workplace. IIM took the step to manufacture PPE during first lockdown, where most of the students participated. IIM donate a huge amount of PPE for a hospital at Sabah. Next one, I would like to mention about a very kind person named Dr. Mohammed Farhan Rosli, public health specialist IM and director, who is also the director for Selangor Task Force Operation, has a crucial contribution on the comprehensive mass testing screening since the second wave of COVID-19. It could be considered as a great sacrifice for the society. Next slide, please. Oh, no, yes, this one. Thank you. Next, I would talk about mental care. For mental care, I am took several steps during this pandemic. At first, I would like to mention about some journals and articles that I am published. First one, helping children cope with stress when experiencing online learning during this pandemic, published by psychology department students. Second article, parent support in online learning journey, which is a famous one because at the last semester we all noticed our all lecturers sending some message and greetings to our parents for supporting us during this critical moment. So that was actually a great step because when I read those texts, I felt great because I thought our I am authorities and uh, lecturers think a lot about us. The third point, different mahalla took different steps to taking care of mental health for all students and staffs. I would like to mention about Mahalla Safia, and as I'm staying here, they organize program called mental health care, and they invited all the residents of Mahalla to come and decorate uh, the specific corner and share the difficulties and the happiness with all of the residents. Now, last but not for the least, I am Student Union also had their variety of activities, also halal entertainment during this whole pandemic period for students. Thank you. That's all for me. And next, I would like to pass Iser.
Okay, in the policy sector, there are two contributions by IUM that empower the Ummah. First, the establishment of Article 121A in Federal Constitution by Professor Ahmad Ibrahim. Professor Ahmad Ibrahim proposed the establishment of Article 121A in order to separate the power of jurisdiction between civil court and Sharia court. Due to the amendment of Article 121A, the civil court would not interfere the power of Sharia court, and the Muslim in Malaysia would not to apply their case in civil court and rather apply it to Sharia court. And the establishment of IIM Student Union, this IIM Student Union was established in order for the students govern themselves and make the best policies for the best interest of themselves. That's all. I will pass the presentation to the next person.
Thank you, Brother Isa. My name is Adam Daniel. I will now present the role of IIUM in empowering the Muslim Ummah in the aspect of economy. To start with, IIUM has a few programs catering for every level of studies that are related to economy. For undergraduate, amongst the courses that IIUM provides include Bachelor of Economics, Bachelor of Finance, and Bachelor of Business Administration. Not just that, to cater for students who wish to pursue their postgraduate studies in the economy field, IIUM has programs such as Master of Science, Master of Economics, and Doctor of Philosophy in Economics. In conjunction with the aforementioned points, IIUM specifically has the Institute of Islamic Banking and Finance, which strives for enhancing Islamic banking and finance education and research globally. These programs provided by IIUM are the stepping stone for the Muslim Ummah to get well equipped with the knowledge pertaining to economy and its related fields and areas, as quoted by Sir Francis Bacon in his published work Meditations Sakari 1597, the saying knowledge itself is power. By providing a platform for the students to learn and gain knowledge, IIUM consequently empowers the Ummah and makes it in line with the Quranic verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ankabut verse 69, "And those who strive in our cause, we will certainly guide them to our path, for verily Allah is with those who do right." In Islam, learning and studying is a form of active worship. Thus, IIUM is significantly contributing to the empowerment of Ummah by having these programs together for their educational needs. Moreover, IIUM2 in the aspect of economy helps the empowerment of Ummah by establishing the International Institute for Halal Research and Training, INHART. According to IIUM official website, INHART has the objective to train future leaders in the halal industry arena, as well as to provide the required well-trained and responsible human resource needs of a sustainable halal industry related to research, development, innovation, and commercialization of halal and toy products, as well as various Sharia compliant service industries like tourism and also hospitality. Simply by advocating for expansion of the halal industry, IIUM is indirectly helping the economy to flourish as the number of Muslims is rising, so does the demand for Sharia compliant products and services. Furthermore, besides matters pertaining to education, IIUM does contribute to empower the Muslim Ummah by having ATM machines around the campus. This step taken by IIUM at one glance may look insignificant, but by providing these ATMs, according to ATMIA, the global non-profit trade organization for the ATM industry, it subsequently helps in boosting and contributing to the economy sector in a way that ATMs distribute and recycle the bulk of banknotes in modern economies, and ATMs are a critical channel in the whole cash and spending cycle underpinning the consumer economy. It too helps the students to easily access their money and do any forms of transactions at any time without having to go to the banks. All in all, IIUM's role and contribution in empowering the Ummah in the aspect of economy is evident and clearly can be seen through the means of providing a platform and an access to education for the students through the programs offered. It is also noteworthy that IIM supports the usage of ITMs, which subsequently helps to boost the economy at large. I'll now pass the floor to Sister Karin Nisanajiha.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And I'm Najiha, and I'll be explaining on how IIUM empowered the Muslim Ummah across the world, and specifically the social sector. Next slide, please. So as mentioned in the vision and mission part by my fellow presenter earlier, Basha, IIUM has been aiming since the beginning to integrate internationalization, Islamization, and quality education. And in the social sector, IIUM has been contributing a fair share as well, such as in the association with the government. So IIUM have several graduates involved in the political sector, and they're very well known as well, such as the recent news of a graduate from IIUM named Said Sadiq, and his acquaintance Nur Shafika and many others who had established a new political party in Malaysia. IIUM, since its inception, has been motivating students to achieve their best in their respective field, and Said Sadiq is one of the examples of that. And or another example, next slide, please. As we're aware, the last year was a challenging year as it was the first nationwide COVID outspread, and there were many students, international or local, who were all stuck on campus. They weren't able to go back due to the restriction imposed by the government. During then, the IIM Student Union had been negotiating with the relevant bodies from the government to allow the students to go back. Although it took a few months, it was successful. Or the time when the IIM Student Union debated with the government as to decrease the university's fees in the dire situation of the COVID-19 outbreak. What was shown then by the student leaders in IIM motivates, encourages, all the more empowering students or other Muslim Ummah who heard the news of their achievements, that they have their rights as a student, as a citizen of Malaysia, and they are able to exercise those rights. And next slide, please. Another instance while Malaysia was under lockdown was the petition to open the sports center in universities, and IIM student leaders had met with the sports ministers to discuss on the issue. And not to mention, IIM has a subsector named the IIM Academy of Graduates, and with the establishment of this academy, IIM had become the first ever public institution to accept students with international certifications or qualifications in a foundation program. And by doing so, IIM is availing education and more opportunities to specific students all over the world, hence empowering the education of Islam to the Ummah. I now pass the floor to Ara to present next.
All right, thank you, Sister Najiha, for the explanation on the student union under the social sector. I am Nur Farah Yasmin binti Muhammad Noor, and I will proceed with the discussion on the IIUM contributions from non-governmental organization. So IIUM is an organization or institution that emphasizes on producing an individual who embraces the elements of wasatiyah, which is a balanced community. Here, IIUM has collaborated with several non-governmental organizations in handling many programs that related to community engagement, aiming to assert a positive impact in helping the society with all the knowledge that gained from the institution. Students can enhance their soft skills by joining these kind of clubs and not only improving their leadership and employability skills, but they can understand on how to engage with diverse groups of people. And for instance, as we can see here, Steadfast Club. So here IIUM has played its role and in producing students who can enhance their quality in leadership skills, and also by mentoring and facilitating the primary and secondary school children around East Malaysia by mentoring and assist them in achieving educational excellence in life and also many other things in life. And the students can share about IIUM institutions that highlight on the Islamic values which bring a positive influence to the children in becoming future quality leaders which fulfill their purpose in as a Khalifa in life. And as we are aware, the objective of learning in this world is not solely limited in knowledge. Not solely limited in achieving the matters that are related to our careers, but we must equip ourselves by improving our network and increasing self-confidence. So these are the values that we can get by joining this kind of club. And also, as you can see here, Titian Wahyu Club. So this is a very interesting club where it clearly portrays the contributions of IIUM in developing the sense of awareness and consciousness to their students in helping or assisting those who are in need. And this club is aiming to encourage the students in volunteering and also mentoring programs for school children, feeding the homeless project, and organizing Bahaba programs and engaging with refugees. So here, IIUM students can inculcate the sense of awareness with their surroundings and be more grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with what they have. And by witnessing others' hardship, they will develop a sense of gratitude for what they have right now. And this gives the students to thank Allah where everything in this world belongs to Him and we must be grateful to Him and everything that we possess, including our health, status, and even the intellectual abilities that He gave, which we should be thankful as we are now in IIUM to learn on worldly and religious knowledge. I will pass to Sister Najiha to continue the presentation.
Moving on to the institution and development in the as a sub discussion on the social sector. So in the aspect of institution and development, IIUM had in many times initiated educational programs or progressive programs for their students. And some of the examples are international conferences, inter-universities programs, exchange students programs, inter-civilizational webinar, and the Islamization of education. And some of the examples observable recently is the International Conference for Student Development in Higher Education. And the motive for this event was to empower and promote student leadership and educational advancement in light of the present situation, which is the post-COVID-19 outbreak. And this program also encourages participation to learn about leadership skills and to understand what quality education means. And the program is also attended by professors from all over the world, learned speakers, youth leaders, and so on. Next slide, please. An example of the international inter-university networking programs, the most recent one is the Law Student Society's Public Relations Subcommittee Program of Networking Session with the UPNBJ, which is a Jakarta, Indonesian-based law faculty in Jakarta. And this event was to promote the insight of how, in different countries, the syllabus implementation, the exchange of knowledge, and leadership styles between IIUM and the respective university. And they also discussed the empowerment of students or student leadership in the time coming as we are facing the post-COVID-19 outbreak. And not to forget to promote the internalization as mentioned in the vision and mission, the latest one, which is a program by IIUM, the Erasmus Student Exchange Program for the economic students. And also, IIUM do collaboration or discussion in a webinar by professors in light of contemporary issues in the industry, specific or in general, and so on. And next slide, please. And since IIUM is an official Islamic institution, it promotes Islamic knowledge and encouraging the students to learn about the religion, to empower more of the Muslim Ummah or just the Ummah in general, such as the UNGS subject we are currently taking. And by doing so, this helps the students, whoever view the screening or participate in the programs, to learn more on the discussed topic which helps increase the student development as well, and consequently help build relationship and networks between the participating organization and maintaining a relationship of the Ummah locally and internationally. That's all from me. I pass the floor to Ara to present next.
Alright, and now I will continue the presentation with IIUM contributions on religious value. So IIUM is primarily an institution which known for institution that underline the principle, Islamic principle, which is vital for us as a Muslim to equip ourselves with knowledge about Islam, as the Quran urge the mankind to think, ponder, and contemplate, acquire knowledge, not only what benefits them in this world, but also in the hereafter, and that increases tawhid. So IIUM has carried out the role in establishing the principle by initiating comparative religions program, where according to the IIUM news article quoted, it is to promote scholarly Islamic heritage disciplines that related to Usuluddin and comparative religion and what are their applicabilities in these contemporary realities. As I mentioned before, a Muslim must embrace the values of Wasatiyah, where here IIUM has take part in develop students who can adopt a holistic approach in dealing with emerging issues. And what most interesting about this department is that it is not only confined to classroom activities, but it exposes students to various community service programs such as interreligious dialogue that usually helped by Honorable Prof. Berikut in maintaining harmonious relationship among a religious society in Malaysia during COVID-19. And lastly, I would like to share about the uniqueness of ICO program in IIUM, where it is in line with the objectives of IIUM in producing students who are equipped with the right Islamic values that can contribute positively to their character and integrity. Here in ICO, for those students who takes LLB must also learn on Sharia subjects. For example, as in these slides, I underline a few subjects that we need to take for this semester and also upcoming semester. So these are all Sharia subjects where it primarily teaches us not only to qualify ourselves with conventional law but also Islamic law. So this kuliah has produced thousands of law graduates who are now serving the Ummah, namely the legal practitioners, legal advisors, and most importantly, Shari'i lawyers. So this had portrayed that IIUM clearly highlights the importance of religious values in its students. So as I mentioned before, the university has produced thousands of graduates who are now serving the Ummah. So therefore, in discussing this, we must quote the major roles and contributions by notable alumni of IUM. So since the foundation of the university in 1983, IIUM has seriously striving towards producing fully functioning insan who will serve as agent of change. So efforts to market the students have been strategized to ensure that the trained forces are accordingly placed in related places. So here is alumni of IIUM, and majority of them now serve both public and private sectors worldwide, where they also provide significant impact on their own communities and countries. And next, I will pass to Sister Basharia to explain the conclusion of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Farah. To conclude, with the spirit of genuine cooperation and the planning, development, and administration of Islamic University display as a model, we are confident that the purity of knowledge values that prioritize basics and positive values can be said to produce a civilization that has a precise contribution to universal humanity, a contribution that showing the right of human rank, the greatness of his intellect, and the wealth of thought and creativity. Our priority is to empower knowledge and culture with truth factors, including the freshness of knowledge and intelligence of thinking, and a fair legal system, as well as to polish awareness of universal values that elevate human dignity, stimulate intellectual activities such as writing that calls people to truth, speech, knowledge that refreshes the soul to the beauty of the intellect and art. With that, I end my presentation with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.